Hey everybody. So happy new week. There's been a lot. It feels like there's just getting through this technical report. It feels like it's been a lot of work, a lot of communication, a lot of focus. I won't say I'm burned out on it because I've got a lot of grading of it to do, but I'm kind of burned out on talking about it. So I'm gonna say a total of 20 seconds worth of here's Taylor um, doing some good stuff. I like the line chart. Um, Even if the last one, I feel like time on internet wasn't fitting in with all these other ones, but it looks sharp. It works well. Bar charts, and then also pie charts. So kind of a variety of methods all work together. Not something that had to happen, but overall, I see a lot of people doing things like this. Somebody asked about the reference sheet. Um, Dakota, I think that was you. Not a super huge thing since the sources were given to you. Um, and yeah, I'll be in contact grading your essays. That was more than 20 seconds, wasn't it? Anyway, so I thought I would do something different today, and kind of weigh in on some of my stuff, things that I've been working on. Oh no, my son has an F in his math class, but they just started a trimester, so I have every faith that he will get that grade up. Anyway, stuff like that comes up as I'm making this video in the very midst of it. Anyway, I'm writing a dissertation right now, which is basically a technical report. Um, it's about it's longer. We'll just say that. I'll just show you. I'm going to show you though two separate drafts. So this was an earlier draft, and then here's my current draft. So as you can see, a concise, powerful distillation of a 3-year project, a single paragraph or two reduced from several hundred paragraphs of data. I cut that in, or I cut that out and added a more complete one. Although I see now that I added a smart aleck comment right in the end that I forgot to cut out before I sent this draft to my dissertation chair. But I think he'll get a kick out of it. Anyway, so some revision stuff that I did. I actually really liked my intro section. So the first two paragraphs have just kind of surface edits. My third paragraph, though, is completely different. I moved this paragraph down to a body paragraph, and this, and I think this is all new, and then this was from my chapter 5, and part of this was too, and then the rest of this was new. Oh, and actually this I moved up earlier to right here, so I lied. This was part of chapter 1, just this stuff right here. So you see me rearranging, you see me adding, you see me moving. Gosh, I would go through more of it to kind of show you what I'm doing, but yeah, chapter 1 received a whole bunch of revisions. Chapter 2, my literature review. So this is a different kind of format than what you guys were doing. There's 30-something pages on the lit review. My methodology chapter was only like 10, 15 pages. And then the analysis chapter, you see I have pie charts. Don't use the variety like Taylor does. Probably could have used a little bit more variety, but there's kind of a consistency to all of it. It's all from one questionnaire, so I kind of feel like it was necessary. An image, but otherwise, oh gosh, there's so much rearranging I need to do. I organized this chapter by data type, and I decided to change it to um, theme or like message, basically. So rather than like, okay, here was my face-to-face class interviews, all about them. Here's my online class uh, video conference results. Rather than that, I did, okay, here's every time a student talked about anxiety, and then anxiety. And it came from all of these different, it was uh, 8 hours of work to revise that. And even, well, no, it was about 8 hours. So I feel your pain. I feel your pain with the revisions. And I'm just trying to inspire you guys to get excited to go do a PhD because, yeah. No, this is not the part to focus on. It really is worth it. Like I see why this was really a positive experience to go through and revise this. Like it really kind of blew my mind. So never worked with a project this big, and kind of wrapping my mind around all of it is weeks long just for revision. And then the whole project has been a couple of years. So here's my works cited pages. Yeah, 12 plus page. How many pages is it? So from 134 back to, I guess it's only 11 pages. That's it. Oh, single spaced. That's why. This whole thing. Anyway, so if I seem like I'm off doing my own thing, this is one of the things. I was thinking of also showing you some of the job application stuff that I've been doing, which was a lot like your the application you guys did for the internship. But I decided I'm not gonna talk too much about that. I'm gonna shift gears. I am gonna still talk about stuff that I'm working on right now. So this week, I've been using the Gospel Living app. Are you guys familiar with that? It's like mainly for like youth, but it's got a way of organizing goals that I really appreciate because it has the Luke 2, what was that scripture about Jesus growing in wisdom, and where it talks about the social, physical, spiritual, and intellectual goals, and it has a way of organizing that I really like. So I've been working on goals in those categories. I've got healthy video games and eating healthy. I've got dissertation work and Duolingo for intellectual goals. I've got grading and working on stuff with my kids for social. I've got daily prayers and scripture reading for my spiritual. Anyway, but what I worked on this week was a personal mission statement. So what I did was tried to like figure out like how could I distill all of these goals, everything that I want to become, into one statement. It was a really cool exercise. I highly recommend doing something like that. I actually have not shared this with many people, so I'm a little self-conscious about it, but I'm going to share it with you guys just because. So it is, I have misgivings. I'm going for it though. Okay. To live hungry for purity, eager to work, willing to suffer, anxious for others' well-being, and at peace with myself. So I feel like a lot of this is another way of saying, wanting to be more Christ-like. Because I feel like a lot of my unhealthy coping, like the whole video game things, I feel like a lot of that is I turn to video games to avoid feeling pain, feeling discomfort, feeling stress. It's like, oh gosh, I have to have video games to cope, to unwind. I tell myself it's unwinding, but it's actually, I feel like wanting to avoid pain rather than face pain head on and try to work through it and understand it. And I feel like, during the sacrament yesterday, just really had the feeling of like, who better? Like, Jesus was the ultimate example in being willing to suffer. Like, all kinds of unfairness that he went through and took it. It's like, wow, that's like, that's not me, but that's who I want to be. I want to be able to face that. Um, eagerness to work too. I feel like a lot of times I am willing to do kind of the minimal of work to get away, to get passing, but I want to be, this needs done, boom, I'm on it, I'm gonna do it. Hungry for purity. I feel like I have a lot of like, oh, I shouldn't do this because other people tell me not to, but am I really like being hungry for righteousness? Like, do I really like want to feed that part of me? Another way of putting this, am I backing slowly away from hell, or am I running towards heaven? Like, what is my attitude towards these things? And then the contrast between like anxious for others' well-being. Like, I think anxiety is, I use that word intentionally because I struggle with stress and anxiety, but like, I think being anxiously engaged in a good work, anxious for others' well-being, I think is really important, that I'm thinking about, I'm worried about in a way that does not upset my own peace with myself, but is still still a part of that. Anyway, so I highly recommend some kind of activity like this, of like trying to take stock of where you're at, what you want, and so yeah, something a little different. Good luck moving forward. Send me emails if you're struggling with stuff. I'm anxious. I want to be anxious for your well-being. So you now know that. All right. Talk to you later.